What's going on, guys? This is the day one of the 2023 ACA National Championship. You see, we just got to the first spot and pulled up on one of our brush piles we had marked. I just hook up here. This fish isn't very big. It's like a low two and some change, but it's still a really important fish for us to get the momentum going for the day. And comes in pretty easily right here. This fish hit a Seville, and we're about to watch as our kind of give or take our milk run of 50 to 60 brush piles that we're trying to hit pretty quickly and just see which ones are firing on that day. So I'm going to get this fish unhooked and we're going to cut to the next spot in a second. Okay, we're at the next spot. I see some fish schooling out there in the distance, and Max hooks up with a fluke right there. He's getting his. I'm still trying to maximize the schooling fish opportunity. I'm not getting anything, obviously, and I'm about to go grab the net real quick for him. Max hooked up this one. Still another low two and some change on a fluke. Get that one boated real quick and get him unhooked. After that, we're blasting that lake, still hitting a bunch of brush piles. We pull up in one a little bit further back in the creek, and Max fires his fluke out there, which he hooks up pretty quickly. And I throw the Seville out there, and I hook up about halfway through the cast. Max hooks one. We can both tell it's not a super big one. I don't know how big mine is at the time, but it does feel decent. Ended up actually being a 3.5, maybe a little bit more pound largemouth, and Max is about to boat flip his, and I'm going to attempt to self net mine when Max is going to help me get the net on this one. So at this point, I realize that I have a decent fish on, so I'm trying to get the net while he's still catching his fish. We have a lot of double ups throughout this video, but I was really pleased by the way we handled them and executed them. We're able to fish clean this first day. So there we go. Got that fish in there. Like I said, it's about a 3.5 on a Seville, give or take. It's good largemouth. It's a tough time of year in May. There's a lot of fish that would come up and look at the bait and not really commit, but glad to have this one early. It's still probably only 8:30, 8:45, so that's definitely a good fish to add to our bag. Another shot of us running back out of the creek. We're going to stop at another spot we hit earlier, but they weren't feeding. We see them schooling again there. I fire the Seville over there. Have one pull off just there, and then just kind of gave this one a light hook set, and this one ate it. This was another one that was probably 3 3/4. You can see him coming up jump just there. This was another really good largemouth that we needed, and Max went ahead and got the net rather than trying to keep a bait in the water because we knew how much this fish would help our bag out. So we get that one in there. That's another really solid fish that we can add to our bag. And he's going to try to get one on a fluke. We're going to get that fish boxed up and keep working our way back out of the creek. Again, we pull up on another spot. They're schooling. Both get our baits in there about the same time. Both got a Seville on right now. And I hook up first, Max shortly after, and we both catch these two fish. They end up being a little over 2 pounds and cull out the first two we caught this morning. Nothing too crazy, but still a good momentum boost to just keep us rolling in the right direction and keep us on track for the day. It's kind of funny we caught them at the same exact time. But like I said, this was a really weird tournament because the fish were set up on offshore humps and piles and just various brush and a lot of different water depths. But they're really timid in May. They kind of get into post-spawn funk, so we had to run a lot of holes to get these fish to actually commit. And the ones we did were typically small, but every once in a while we got one of those 3-pound class fish. Max hooks up right here on a Seville. I quickly throw the fluke in there and I get one too. These fish don't help, but still another cool double up clip of us kind of maximizing when those fish are feeding and coming up. And Max is gonna flip this little one in there, and mine's small too, but still just good momentum rolling through the day. So at this point we have two really good largemouth. Max has one three and some change pound spot. I didn't get on camera, but so we have three really good fish that we want in our bag at this point. Keep moving, and Max hooks up again on a Seville. I'm not sure if this fish helps. If it does, it's a little bit, nothing too crazy. I'm still trying to get one. He flips this fish in there. It's another 2-ish pounder. It may have called up a couple ounces. You'll see me checking on the scale, but nothing too crazy. I'm grabbing this fish. I'm gonna throw him on the scale, see how much it really does help. Max actually hooks up on another little one. It's kind of like I was saying though. Once you do get them fired, you gotta have a bait in there and maximize when they are up feeding. Yeah, another little guy. This fish I caught on a fluke shortly after. It's a bunch of fish on this pile and got one to keep in. I really thought this was going to be a better fish for us, but just another one of those cookie cutter 240 to 260 pound spots. We had three of those good over 3 pounders and just had two that we really tried to call out for the rest of the day. But this is still around 10, 11 o'clock, but there's a couple more fish catches. But after this, the bite really died for us, and we probably didn't catch a fish for the next 3 to 4 hours before weigh in. Still fighting this fish. Grab it with the net. Ends up being, like I said, 240-ish, give or take. Still not what we're looking for, but good momentum. Still running around trying to call out a few more fish. Just weighed this one. And in a second, I'm going to pull the other one out of live well, and they both weighed pretty much the same. I was trying to look at them and see which one's bigger. And we ended up having to get out the balance beam. I'm asking Max which one he thinks. Yeah, so in this clip, I hook up on a drop shot, and Max had brought probably 25 to 30 spots under the boat, and there's just too many of them for me not to get a bottom bait down there. I felt like a couple of them were bigger due to the fish we saw on this pile in practice, but this one did help a couple ounces. I remember I think this one was around 250, low 260s, so made a couple ounce upgrade, nothing crazy, but still in one of these May tournaments, a couple ounces goes a long way. So we're happy to get this fish in the boat, and got him in there right here. Get this one unhooked and see what he weighs. Yep. So we're gonna move into day two right now. Kind of had a little bit of slow start on day two. Pull up to an area we caught a good largemouth on day one. I fired the Seville out of there. This was our first fish of the morning. We caught one other small one, but this is our first keeper of the morning. I hook up pretty soon on right there. I think it's a little bit better than what it is. It ended up being like a 2.5, but definitely happy to have it after running 10 to 15 spots without getting one to commit. So got a little confidence boost right here, and was able to get this fish in the net, and really wanted to because I knew it kind of came up and swiped at it, and it didn't have the hooks very good. And you'll see when it comes off pretty quickly after getting in the net. Still fighting this fish a little bit more than I usually would just because I saw how it was hooked and got it in the net. You can see the bill popped right out. And then go ahead and get this fish boxed up, and we'll be at the next spot in a second. Max fires out there with a Seville. It's going to hook up on another low 2 pounder, but still another fish we need for our limit. And I'm going to attempt to get the net, but he goes ahead and swings it because it's just a little 2 pounder. And day two is extremely windy out there. It was gusting low 20 to 25 pretty much all the morning. made it really difficult to get on some of the stuff. But when you did, they were obviously feeding you the high winds. You can see me pull off 2 or 3 fish right here, pull off another one right there, and finally one of the smaller fish out of the school grabs it right there at the boat. It's another. This one's a hair better. It's maybe a little over 2.5, but still just trying to fill out our limit and get to a little bit higher pounds early in the morning. And later in the day, we ended up catching a three and some change max did on Seville. I don't have that on video, or the 4.5 I caught in the last hour. Those were 2 really key fish that boosted us up to that 16-pound mark. But this is another fish from the morning. This one smokes it out of the boat right here. You can see him blow up right there. Thought it was a really big one the way he ate it. Ended up being another one of those 2.5s. We're getting close to that 12 and some change mark. Not where we want to be, but we got to have some 2-pounders to get confident and start working our way to a better bag. As you can see, his hat flew off, and you can see the wind. That's another reason I cut the audio to this video, is just because it's pretty obnoxious to just hear the wind ripping all day. There's no real audio that came out of this that we could use for a video. Pull up to another spot. You can see the waves here. They're just building. Max hooks up on a Seville. This one does help out a little bit. It's a pretty decent one. It's probably 2 3/4. So making another little upgrade. Just comes up, get him in the net, run to the next spot. I kind of flip the Seville out like 40 to 50 feet on a little pot of them I see roaming. They come up and kill it pretty quick once they see it. This fish helped out a little bit. It's another upper 2-pounder. But this time of year, like I said, it was extremely tough event due to the amount of fish we'd see come up on our baits and not commit. We had some incredible days in practice where we saw some really big fish come up and just always seemed to kind of hook the smallest one out of the group. But that's just how it goes. Herring fishing in May. In this clip, I think I actually hook up with a 20 or so pound striper, which is not something you ever want in a tournament, but I'm kind of dealing with him in the background here, and Max is still fan casting over this pile we're on, and he hooks up on one here. This one is almost 3 pounds, so definitely a good upgrade here. But like I said, at the spot before this, Max did catch a good 3.5 pound largemouth that I wasn't able to get on video. So now we have 2 fish that we want to weigh in. And about an hour before check-in, our live well pumps went completely out, but you can see some of the bigger largemouth in there that we had. But that will conclude our day 2 for the ACA.
And then some, lock straight in at 16.54. Guys, grab a couple good ones and hold them up. Got these. They're all clones, aren't they? Just all nice fish. You gonna hold them both? Let your buddy grab a couple? All right. Let's hear it for them, guys. All right, let's drop them in here. We'll get them watered up.